How many times do we as hockey fans, sports fans even, tell you you can't judge a player by their numbers? That they bring more than their numbers might lead you to believe. And Johnny Boychuk is one of those ultimate guys to have done that. So today, he has announced his retirement, and I am going ahead and putting out a video. I'll throw him into the Hockey Guy Hall of Fame for what that's worth, which is about the same as mods get paid on the channel. Sorry, Lars. Anyways, he's drafted in 2002. He's a number 61 overall pick, and it takes him 5 years to make his debut in the NHL. Defenseman, it takes a while longer, and this is why, people are like, oh, this defenseman's a bust, this guy's a bust. I'm like, just wait, because sometimes it takes a while. He played 4 games in 07-08, no points. And then June 4th of 2008, so after he finally makes his debut for Colorado, he's traded for Matt Hendricks to the Boston Bruins. Now, the Bruins don't know what they have in him right out of the gate, or he needs more seasoning, whichever way you want to look at it. He only played 1 game with the Boston Bruins the following season. And you'll notice there's a number in black here. That's hits. He had 3 hits in that 1 game for Boston after having 9 in the 4 games for Colorado. And that's one of those stats that definitely stands out when you're looking at Johnny Boychuk. Now, 2009-2010, he finally gets into an NHL lineup. So this is 7 years after he's drafted. He's finally given a shot at playing regularly. 51 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. The first thing I noticed with Boychuk was he was better offensively than I thought he was given credit for. Boston had a pretty deep blue line, and what he was being asked to do was hit. 91 hits in those 51 games. In the playoffs, 13 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. And again, I remembered him as being a guy that had a pretty good point shot, that I was surprised he wasn't being utilized more offensively for the Bruins. June 24th of 2010, he signs a 2-year deal for $1.87 million a year. Very reasonable contract from Peter Chiarelli. We'll come back to him. 69 games in the following season, 3 goals, 13 assists, 16 points. And again, very solid defenseman, putting up about 20 minutes a game. In the playoffs, 25 games. Of course, the Bruins won the Stanley Cup that year. 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. 117 hits during the regular season. So his hits per game seem to be a little bit down. They go right back up. 77 games the following season. 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. In the playoffs, 7 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, 145 hits. And then February 14th of 2012, he would sign his final contract as a Bruin. 3 years, $3.336 million a year. Very reasonable contract. Absolutely a reasonable contract. But the Boston Bruins are going to start spending themselves into trouble, which often happens with teams that win Stanley Cups. Or sometimes the team that loses the Stanley Cup gets themselves into cap trouble. So he signs that deal. The following season, of course, it's lockout shortened, 44 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. But in the playoffs, you need a big goal? Throw Johnny on the ice. 22 games in the playoffs, 6 goals in the playoffs that year, 1 assist, 7 points. That's more goals than he had in a regular season to that stage in his career. 79 hits over those 44 games. So again, he's hitting, he's a good shot blocker, and he has a pretty decent shot. Those 6 goals in 22 games, I was like, all right, so come on, give Johnny more offensive opportunities. His final year with Boston, 2013-2014, 75 games, 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points. In the playoffs, 12 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, and 158 hits. Bruins fans love Johnny Boychuk. I should be wearing a Bruins jersey for this video on the career of Johnny Boychuk. Peter Chiarelli, realizing he has a major cap problem, the team has to get under the cap before opening night, October 4th of 2014. So right before opening night, this is where the Bruins kind of ripped my heart out a little bit, where Johnny Boychuk is traded to the Islanders for 2 second-round picks. Now, the 2015 second-round pick becomes Brandon Carlo. We remember the 2015 draft for the Bruins as having picked up DeBrusk, who's decent. But then you've got Zboril and Senyshyn, and you left who on the board? Connor, Besser, Konechny, Barzal. It's better not to think about it. But that second-round pick of Carlo turns out to be pretty decent. And then a 2016 second-round pick that became Ryan Lindgren. And, of course, Lindgren was then part of the trade to get Rick Nash in for the Boston Bruins. In retrospect, I would like to have seen Lindgren playing for Boston. And with where Boston's at right now as I'm recording this, they could really use a Ryan Lindgren in their top 4. But I digress. 2014-2015, his first year with the Islanders, with me rooting him on because I was really ticked off that the Islanders, a team that had a lot of cap space, took in Leddy and Boychuk because they're like, hey, cool, we've added 2 top 4 defensemen and we didn't give up anything off our roster to get them. 72 games that year for the Islanders, 9 goals, 26 assists, 35 points. In the playoffs, 7 games played, 2 assists, 171 hits that first year with the Islanders. Yeah, that was a career high, and Boychuk showed Islanders fans pretty darn quick why he was popular in Boston. And notice, 9 goals that first year with the Islanders. He was putting that puck on the net. He was getting it in on occasion. 70 games played the following season, 9 goals again, only 16 assists, 25 points in the playoffs, 11 games. The Islanders get out of the first round. That's the first time that had happened in a while. I'm not going to say it's because they had Boychuk, but I'm not going to say it was because I'm not going to say it was. You guys know what I was going to say. 149 hits over the regular season that year. 2016-2017, 66 games played, 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points, 160 hits. He's 33 years of age. He's still throwing more than 2 hits per game. 114 hits over 58 games in 2017-2018. 6 goals, 12 assists, 18 points. 2018-2019, 74 games, 3 goals, 16 assists, 19 points. And in the playoffs, 4 games, 1 assist, 144 penalty minutes. Now, coming into this season, as he's hitting his mid-30s, he's about to turn 36, the contract he signed back here, 2015. So keep in mind, when Boston trades him, he's due for a raise. So it's not just, hey, we've got to get rid of Johnny and save $3.336 million under the cap. It's also he wants a raise. So he gets that raise. March 12th of 2015, signs a 7-year deal for $6 million a year. Pierre LeBrun sent out a tweet about that. I was reading that while I was getting ready for this video. And it's interesting because there were a lot of people torn on that deal, on whether or not it was a good deal, in that he was being signed into his late 30s. And was this a case where the Islanders were giving too much cap, too much in terms of how many years he got on his contract? Was the term too long? Well, in his final year, 64 games, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points. I still like Johnny Boychuk's game. I did. And he did come back and play in the playoffs, which shocked all of us. Because on March 3rd against the New York Islanders, a skate to the eye from Lehkonen. Not an intentional move by Lehkonen at all. One of those things that just makes you queasy watching it. This is what leads to the end of his career right here. He ended up having optic nerve damage, and we haven't heard the full extent of it. I know he recorded a video today. I haven't watched that video yet, but I know that there's damage there. He had 90 stitches. 90 stitches that night. And so coming back and playing in the playoffs is nothing short of a miracle. 135 hits in his last year in the league. 725 games played overall. 54 goals, 152 assists, 206 points. In the playoffs, 104 games, 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. But it's the hitting and the block shots. It's the defensive side of things that really got people excited about Johnny Boychuk. 1,475 hits over his career, 1,326 blocked shots. Now, over the playoffs, 291 hits in 104 games. That's a lot. And 246 blocked shots. This is a player who didn't back down. And had nothing but respect from me. And honestly, from when he debuted for the Bruins, I'll say in 2009, 2010. I'm not sure that I watched his first game in 2008, 2009. I don't remember. But 2009, 2010, I remember I was very impressed with Boychuk, and I couldn't believe that it had taken this guy so long to make the NHL. And he was a very impressive player. So he will be missed. And I understand that this contract was cumbersome for the Islanders at this point, and that they'd maybe been looking at a way to move his contract and move him this offseason. It is highly likely that the eye injury that caused him to retire would have made it very difficult to move him, on top of the flat salary cap we're dealing with right now. But nothing but respect for Boychuk. I wish he'd played his entire career as a Bruin. No offense, Islander fans. But this was a player I never wanted to see get traded. This was a player that most Bruin fans didn't want to see go anywhere, even though Carlo turns out to be a pretty decent top four defenseman as well. We had really wanted to see Boychuk stick around. So there you go. Again, not a player who's Hall of Fame caliber, and he's a player that could easily be forgotten 20 years from now, but not by me. As long as I'm still around, that won't happen. And with how tough he was and how hard he played the game, I could see him ending up in some kind of a coaching role. I could see him being a pretty decent scout, too, for the fact that he played hockey for so long. 36 years of age when he retired. He's been in the game for a very long time, and be very useful to keep around. But we'll see what he does. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.